Hello, everybody, and welcome back to The Witch Source. I'm Whitney. I wanted to share with you guys a Pentacle Protection visualization meditation that you guys can use. And I know I do a few meditations before, and they're really more of a do-it-yourself meditation than a guided meditation, because the goal is for you to get the hang of it and then do it yourself without any guidance. So I know you can find all kinds of meditations, on podcasts and YouTube, and a lot of times they have music and they take you step by step through the meditation, and those are great and they have their place and they're very useful. But what I want to show you or tell you about today is something that I use quite frequently, and the goal is for you to be able to practice it to the point where you can do it anytime you need to, wherever you are. So it's kind of a meditation, and you can start practicing with it as a meditation, but eventually you should be able to instantly call on it at any point in time when needed. So the Pentacle of Protection is a visualization. So if you're first starting out and practicing and getting the hang of it, I do recommend that you start in that meditative space after you have grounded, connected, and centered, because that gets you in a good vibe to be able to harness energy and feel the energy and the connections, with the earth and spirit, and get you in that space where you can really start to hopefully flow and visualize. And it is a combination of using your imagination, but when you're in that meditative space, you can really tap in and feel the energy, and it's so much more than just your imagination. So once you have got to the place of, being grounded, connected, centered, you visualize a giant pentacle, okay? And the pentacle, just for some clarification, is the star with the circle around it. Okay, so the pentagram is just the star itself, and it becomes a pentacle when it is wrapped in that circle. If you need help remembering that, you can think of pentacles in the tarot deck, because they are the star with the circle. So if you need help remembering the difference between the pentagram and the pentacle, that might help you remember. But you're going to visualize a giant pentacle, okay? And it's going to be large enough to surround you so that you can be in the center of it, okay? And it probably extends out maybe 3 feet around your person. So, that way your aura is kept close and your energy is kept in. And it creates a good amount of distance between you and anything else around you, any other energies or people. Okay. So first I'll tell you, how to see it, visualize it, use it, and then how to use it out and about and in practical magical application. Okay. So you'll start with just envisioning that big pentacle, and you can see it really just falling from above, from that light source, and you can see it and visualize it however you choose. You can pick a color, so you can make it red or purple, black, gold, or just the white light, right? So it's just glowing and illuminating. So that's an option as well. And I like to see it just kind of gradually, slowly falling from above. And it just falls right over my person, right? So it just drops down around me. And I feel it kind of lock into place, okay? And it helps you to be able to lock it into place around you. If you are grounded, it does help. So you'll drop that around you, and I like to see the light from it go straight up. So you're kind of in a wrapped up in this light of protection while you're in the middle of this pentacle, okay? And you can just sit with that, get used to it. And as you're seeing and sensing and visualizing and feeling this protection, right? And as you guys know, I do work very closely with the goddess. So I like to see, sense, and feel the energy that this pentacle brings down with it and surrounds me in and locks into place as that mama bear energy, right? So it's loving, but it's fierce and it's protective, and it's not going to let anything get close to me, period. Like, just not going to happen. If you don't connect with a goddess energy, that's perfectly fine. You can tap into that divine masculine energy and that fierce protectiveness that can come with that divine masculine energy, and feel that lock into place around you. Okay. And so what that does for me is it protects my energy, right? So I've called in my energy from being centered, and then it just kind of locks my energy in, and it helps me from getting depleted and running low, so that people can't suck on my energy, right? So there's vampires, energy vampires out there all over. And I'm sure everyone has encountered an energy vampire, or those just really emotionally needy people, right? That they've got to take, okay? And what that does is it locks my energy in, and it protects it and seals it so that nobody can try to interfere with my energy without my permission, okay? So this is great to use if you feel in any way that you need protection, okay? And you can also put this up and tap into it. And again, you want to get really good to where you really sense it, so that you know that if you are, say, out in public and you feel an energetic threat, that you can instantly call on that pentacle, bring it in, wrap yourself up, and know you're good. So that's why I recommend starting with it in that meditative space, so you can get really good and connected with what that protection feels like, right? And that way you can visualize it in your mind's eye. Even if your eyes are open, you're maybe having to be in a conversation with somebody, interact with somebody, you can still silently call that up and know you are instantly safe and you are instantly protected. Okay. Another really good thing that this does, not only does it protect your own energy, so that people cannot suck on it, it also creates a barrier, right? So if somebody's trying to send energy your way, okay, so those bad vibes, that bad juju, right, that we don't want, it will block that out as well, okay, so it doesn't get to you. It also can keep, if you're an empath, it works great to stop and really filter out any of that emotional energy, right? So as empaths, it's very easy to take on other people's emotions and to really start to feel sideways, which is why I always advocate learning your own energy and learning what is your energy versus somebody else's energy, okay? And the more you meditate and you ground and you connect and you center and call in and bring in your energy, the better you are at knowing what's yours and what's somebody else's, right? And of course, as a witch and a magical person, I really recommend that you take the time to really get to know who you are, know yourself, right? Of course, love yourself, but know your energy, okay? Because then you're going to know if you're off, okay? So if depression sneaks in, negativity sneaks in, a streak of bad luck starts to show up for you, if things just start to feel sideways, you start to feel extra emotional, thoughts start coming your way out of nowhere that you don't want, okay? So these are the kinds of things that, it's not that shadow work coming up that needs to be healed, that's asking to be released, but really just sideways thoughts, okay, that are not yours, that hit you out of nowhere. You're going to be so much more aware of saying, whoa, pause. This isn't me. This isn't who I am. This isn't how I think. This isn't how I act. This isn't how I feel. This isn't how my energy feels, okay? So you want to know what's yours and what's not. And when you're an empath, it's so, so, so important to know what your home base energy is. And then, there's a time and a place for using that gift of being an empath, right? So if you're an empath, you're probably a little extra sensitive to energy, emotions, other people's energy, right? And there's a time and a place for it, okay? You want to get to the point where you are using that gift at will, on your own terms and with your own permission, and that it's not just happening to you, unwanted, okay? So if you're out and about and you're shopping and you're just, having a nice, maybe a nice stroll through a park or any time that you're out, and then all of a sudden you start to feel off, right? And as an empath, you're probably picking up on the energy of somebody around you, okay? And if you're out as some self-care or some, just to be therapeutic, spending time in nature, those kinds of things, it's not the time and place necessarily for that empathic gift to kick in, right? Because that's your you time, that's your self-care time. So that would be one of the prime times to call up that pentacle of energy and lock it into place, right? So that you're not being thrown off from what your true intentions are that you set for your outing or your day. Okay, so it's also good for that. Another time that you can use this is if somebody is trying to manipulate you or manipulate your energy, okay? And I'm sure you guys have experienced this as well. This can look like, somebody trying to guilt trip you, somebody trying to talk you into something, and there's all kinds of forms of energetic manipulation, okay? And this is just the thoughts and the feelings and the energy that people are sending your way, even if they're unconscious of it. And non-magical people do this all the time, right? So you'll feel like if somebody is jealous, right? You might pick that up. You might feel that. And it might hit you a little bit sideways and throw you off. Like, what did I do to you to cause this reaction, And it might have you questioning yourself when it's not you. It doesn't have anything to do with you. It has to do with the other person, right? And their unhealed traumas and things that are coming up for them. It's not your problem, right? It's their problem. And so when you've got that pentacle up, whatever those thoughts and that energy that they're trying to send your way, don't make it through that pentacle. But what does happen is you become aware of the energy that they're sending. You become aware of what they are maybe verbally and unverbally communicating to you. But you can see it for what it is. You can recognize the truth of what it is, but the energy and the emotion is taken out of the equation. Okay, so you don't have an energetic reaction. You don't have an emotional reaction, right? So that's especially helpful if somebody's trying to guilt trip you, for example. So when you can turn off that emotion, you could turn off that energy, they can send it all day and it's not going to affect you. It's not going to touch you, but you will be aware of what they're trying to do. And then you're in a more grounded, clear-headed place to be able to decide how you want to handle that situation, okay, without the manipulation piece. So it's incredibly useful to use. I use it quite frequently, especially if I have to be out engaging in any kind of public setting or engaging with certain people that I know have a tendency to throw their energy around or throw their their emotions around to try to get a reaction. I will definitely protect up with that pentacle if I'm going to be around those people, because it's not fun being manipulated, right? I mean, how many lessons have we all learned in hindsight 2020, vision of, wow, I really got talked into that, or I really got manipulated, or I really got turned around or felt really sideways from different interactions in our lifetime. And this is even true even in family dynamics, right? So if you've got a really difficult family member, and especially we're coming right into all of the holiday seasons, right? So all those gatherings, put that pentacle up before you go, right? Before you get out of the car, or, before you leave the house. Protect yourself, protect your energy, protect your mind and your emotions with the pentacle, because it's so easy to do. Like I said, once you get used to what that feels like energetically, and you have that strong sense of protection around you, then you can easily call on it at any point in time, right? And I can't tell you, there's been several times, that I forget to put it up before I go out. But then energetically, I will feel a threat, right? You get that sense of somebody's looking at you, somebody's staring at you. Those spidey senses go off, right? Your intuition starts talking to you like, somebody's hitting me with something, right? And when you look, they're staring right at you. And sometimes it's just an innocent, they're studying you. Something within them has recognized something within you. 9 times out of 10, it's the light that you illuminate. And they either knowingly or unknowingly are attracted to it or interested in it. But sometimes there's all kinds of things that come up for people. They become very triggered by light workers and spiritual beings and spiritual magical people. So it just helps, when you start to feel some kind of energetic threat, and I'm sure it's happened to people. You feel that person staring at you, and you look over, and it's a total creeper, and they're giving off total creeper vibes, right? And you just want to make that icky go away, right? So throw up that pentacle and push the icky out of it, and know that it can't come back in, right? And that normally will push them away. It'll dispel them. So give it a try and see what you think. If you are maybe have a job where you work with really difficult people, and you feel like you need to protect yourself, protect your energy, throw that pentacle up, before you go into that door. And you might have to do it a couple times throughout the day. If things start to feel sideways, you get approached by that employee you don't like working with, or that manager or boss that, sometimes gives you weird vibes, throw it right back up, right? It's very useful. It's helped me so many times. And I know, like, sometimes I will encounter people that just have very anxious energy. Their energy level it feels very stressed. It feels very anxious. They're all over the place. Their energy's really bouncy. And that energy is really hard for me to be around and deal with. It really is. Because I'm just like, wow, you need to get grounded, right? But you can't, ground people without their permission. And a lot of people are not open to magical spiritual practices. Like you don't want to just randomly be like, hey, you need to go get grounded. You need to go hug a tree or something, right? Like they're not going to be open to that. So putting that pentacle up really helps, because then you become very aware of, wow, they're really struggling, but you no longer have to try to combat the energy, right? You don't have to try and work so hard to maintain your energy. It just gives you that extra layer of protection to filter all of that other energy, that anxious energy out of the picture. So give it a try, you guys. I would love to know what you guys think as you are trying it out. You can connect with us on Facebook. We also have the Facebook group, The Witch Source Society. So please check us out on Facebook. You can just look for The Witch Source. You'll find us. And then once you find that, you can find us on the Facebook group, The Witch Source Society. And it's a great place to connect, ask questions, ask your witchy questions, ask your spiritual questions. And there's really no topic that is, kind of off limits if it's in the magical, spiritual, woo realm. Like we really do love the questions, so if you need help troubleshooting spell work, or you're having some funky energy, shadow work, if you got questions about crystals or candles, or anything like that, right? Any kind of weird psychic phenomenon, or we are getting into the spooky season, so sharing ghost stories or asking questions, anything like that, we would love to hear from you. We'd love to help you. If you're just looking for different opinions and thoughts, it's a great place to just get in there and share, comment, ask questions. We would love it. And, that's really a good place that, a resource that I try to use to put out information in these podcasts. So that if you have questions, you're not the only one that has a question, right? There's other people that your question can help. If you're shy or you're not on Facebook, you can connect with us also on Instagram. Just look for The Witch Source. We're also on YouTube. Same thing. Just go to search. You'll find our channel if you'll type in The Witch Source. And you can always email your questions if that works better for you. You can email us at thewitchsource@gmail.com. Okay, so that's always available too. And I do love connecting with you all and sharing. Oh, there was one other thing I wanted to share. So the pentacle, you can wrap yourself in it. That's highly effective. But another thing that I have found, and I may have already shared this in another podcast, I can't remember, but I think it totally bears repeating. You can use the pentagram as a filter anytime you need it, right? Because it really does filter out the emotion and the energy behind any kind of communication that's going on. So, and for that, I use it a little bit differently, right? So I'll put the pentagram up if I really feel like I need protection. But if I want some clear communication from somebody, but I don't necessarily feel like I need to protect myself from them, I will put a pentagram. I will visualize and put up a pentagram with my mind's eye. And again, practice this in a meditative state so you can get used to pulling it up and get used to recalling it very quickly and visualizing it in front of you in your mind's eye, so that you can get to the point that you can do it instantly with your eyes open as well, while still engaging. But I will envision a pentagram, a very large pentagram. It's probably about half the size of my body. Okay. And I set that pentagram between me and the other person, and I'll visualize it. And I like to go for either like a golden color, a silver color, white, illuminating, and sometimes black. Those are kind of my go-to colors. But I will put those up, right? I'll put one of those up between me and the person that I'm communicating with. And so as they're speaking to me, especially if I feel like there's the potential for the conversation to be confrontational, because I just don't like confrontation. So if anybody ever comes at me with confrontation, I will instantly throw up that pentagram or that pentacle so that I can filter out any emotion or energy that they're trying to throw my way. And you can feel people, when they get angry and their energy starts to get really fiery, and it almost feels like they're throwing these fireballs at you, and they're real inflamed, right? And sometimes you'll even see the redness start to creep up in their face. So it really helps to lessen that blow. If not, and a lot of times for me, it just eliminates it altogether. So I just can very clear-headed, be very calm and grounded, connected, centered in my own energy and in my own element, because all of their emotion and all of the energy that they're trying to send my way gets filtered through that pentagram or that pentacle. So I will just put that up, and I just, in my mind's eye, again, because a lot of times, I'm engaging, right? So I'm listening, my eyes are open, there's back and forth, or not, sometimes I just let them speak. A lot of times people just need to be heard, and they just get that verbal diarrhea and they just have to get it out, right? And it's sometimes directed at you and it has nothing to do with you. But putting up that giant pentacle between you and that person helps you to see it's not you, right? Again, it's not your problem. So I'll put it up and I just make sure that everything they're throwing my way gets filtered through that pentacle. And all of the drama and the energy and the emotion just, stays on the other side of that pentacle. Okay. And a lot of times they'll react because their own energy is bouncing back at them. So sometimes they'll really, continue to escalate on their climb there of rage or, whatever it is they have going on, because they're not sending it to you and they're not getting reaction because it's not hitting you, and you're just calm and you're happy and you're chill and you're just like, okay, I hear you, right? And sometimes that's enough, just to be able to say, I hear you, right? And that doesn't mean that you agree. It doesn't mean that, you're agreeing to anything or you're giving in to anything or that, anything like that, right? It's just, I hear you. I hear what you're telling me. I understand what you're telling me. But again, you don't have the emotion attached. It's very, very helpful. I really wish you guys could just really try it out and let me know what you guys think, because it has been a game changer for me to be able to throw that up. Now, I will tell you, it's harder to do in very, very close relationships. So like my boyfriend, for example, it's very hard for me to put that up and remain calm. But anytime in the past where I've had to interact with maybe a boss or a manager, a disgruntled coworker, and other family members, I can put that up and I'm good. I'm level. I'm me. I'm grounded, right? So, and it also gives you the opportunity to be able to offer insights to what's going on with them, if they're open to receiving it, that is, that they can't see because they're too close. They're too emotional. They're too fired up about it, right? They really need some water energy doused on them to calm them down. But it really does help. It makes a really big difference. So give it a try, you guys, and let me know what you think. So again, you can wrap yourself in that pentacle anytime you need protection. And then you can also put the pentacle up in front of you if you are in a space where you don't feel you need protection, but you just don't want to be glamored, manipulated, coerced, and you don't want to, confrontation, anything you don't want to engage in with a conversation, because you do interact with some people that are really good at glamoring, right? And that was one that I fell for a lot, actually, in my past, because I do have a big heart and I want to help everybody. So that ended up leading to being easily manipulated. So now I will put up that pentacle, and it takes the empathy piece, that being an empath and picking up the emotions and the energies, and unknowingly taking in and taking on the manipulative energy that they're sending my way. It really helped to stop all that, nip it in the bud, like no more, because then I just hear the truth and I see who they really are, right? So while it filters out all the BS from getting to you, it also becomes a truth filter for you, so that you can really see who they are, and what's behind their glamour. Okay. And I really think that will serve you all very, very well in life. It has for me. There are a lot of people out there that like to BS, and just get what they can, the me people in the world. And it's all about me. And I need you to invest your energy into me. It cuts a lot of that crap out. And, your circle might get smaller and smaller and smaller as you start to see the truth of who people really are. And once they can no longer glamour you, you tend to gravitate away from those people because you're like, wow, you're really exhausting. And I had no idea you were so exhausting, right? So that's been really helpful. Another thing, you guys, I just thought about, and I don't want to forget to mention, the Pentacle of Protection, you can use for other people and for objects, right? So if you want to protect your things, you can, again, envision them wrapped up within that pentacle. So if you've got something that's very, very precious to you, you don't want disturbed, you don't want people touching it, or you just, maybe it's your grimoire, maybe it's your book of shadows, just for example, or if you have, certain crystals that you're in love with. If you're anything like me, there's certain ones that you just love, right? And you would just be like heartbroken if something ever happened to them or if they went missing. You can wrap them up in that Pentacle of Protection, and you lock it into place, and they're good. They're protected. You can protect and wrap your pets and your animals in this Pentacle of Protection. And very, very often, quite frequently, I will wrap my daughter up. She's a year and a half, and if we're going to be out, if we're going to be engaging in certain places, I will wrap her up in that Pentacle of Protection. If she's going to be engaging with, family members or people that she's not used to, and she's great at reading energy anyway. Like, she will gravitate to some people, and other people she will be like, nope, don't even look at me, don't talk to me, not having it. But I will wrap her up in that Pentacle of Protection and just lock it into place and keep her safe. Another time that I will do this, you guys, and you might notice this with your children, especially if you're very connected with your children. I wrap her up in that Pentacle of Protection anytime I'm doing any kind of readings or spell work, or connecting with the other side, anything like that, because she's very energy sensitive, I have noticed. And I would always try to reserve, when she's home doing readings or spell work, for when she was down for a nap. And it would not fail. I would be raising the energy, right? And just, pulling up and calling up. I'm so sorry, you guys. I laugh when I always get really, really connected because I get so full of energy. And I was talking about raising energy, and I just did it. So I'm sorry, I don't mean to giggle. If you guys watch me on the lives, because I do live daily readings during the week, and those of you that are familiar, I giggle all the time when I'm connected. Anyway, so anytime that I would raise bukus of power and energy, where it's just so much, right? Like it's as big as my house. It's filling the room, it's filling the house, and it's like I am, Big Bang energy, right? That's what I like to call it. And that's why that's why we made the Big Bang ritual oil, because it's that much energy, right? And you're doing some serious creation. I gotta get a little bit more grounded. I'm so sorry. So when I would raise a whole lot of energy during spell work, every time without fail, she would wake up from that nap because she could feel it and she could sense it. So I started wrapping her up in that Pentacle of Protection and kind of nest egging her in this ball. So I would take this pentacle and I would twist it and shape it and form it into like a ball. So it's still a pentacle, but it's very fluid and it moves and it really just surrounds her in like this little nest egg, almost like it's a shell. It's a little ball, and she's just wrapped up and she's safe and she's protected, and her energy is her energy, and all of my energy and the energy I'm raising can't get through to her. And that's really been a game changer, so that she's not so affected. And if any time I ever forget to do it, man, she's awake. She's feeling it. And she might be doing it now because I accidentally raised all that energy and did not mean to. Anyway. So give it a try. Okay. So you can protect your children. You can protect, I kind of have, my boyfriend gave me, blanket permission to do anything that ever I felt like I needed to do that is for his highest and best. Because I'm all about permission. I'm all about ethics, even as a witch. So, I'll wrap him up in protection. If I am, doing something, maybe I'm doing some spell crafting, or I'm writing a blog post, or, anything that I might be doing. I might be doing the dishes. It doesn't matter. If I get an intuitive hit that he needs me, or he needs my energy, or he needs protection, like something's off, I will just see him, I will visualize him, and I will wrap him up in that Pentacle of Protection. And I know without a doubt, he's good. He's okay. And I would say just about any time I've ever got one of those, senses, those premonitions of like something's up, he'll contact me afterwards and be like, oh, the craziest thing just happened, or, whatever. It was always something, right? But I wrap him up in that layer of protection because, I love him so much and I need him to be okay, right? So I will send that to him. And again, I have that blanket permission from him to do whatever I feel is necessary. So I do, just to keep him safe and loved and happy, and, support him. So energetically and magically and spiritually, and he does the same for me. So I can't even tell you how many times he's felt like, oh, something's up. Let me text her. So we do share that, and we exchange that energy, and it's great. But so you can use that. You can use it for your children. If you're a mom that's so connected to your child, and maybe they're off at school or they're off with their friends, and you just get that sense like, oh, something's not right. Instead of hitting panic mode, right? And especially if you're hitting panic mode and you can't get in touch with them, right? That would be the worst. I fortunately have not experienced that as of yet, with her being so young. But, before you hit that panic mode, wrap your child up in that Pinnacle of Protection, right? And Spirit, the divine, God, Goddess, whatever it is that you connect with and call on, has it. They've got you and they've got them. They're good, right? And that way it's just instant protection. You do not have to be with them. You see them, you sense them, you visualize them, you see them with your third eye, and you connect with them energetically, which if it's your child, you should already know and feel that cord and know where they're at energetically, and you just wrap them up. and you know they're good and they're safe and they're protected until you can get to them, talk to them, communicate with them, and find out what's going on. So hopefully that is helpful to you. Let me know if you guys have any experiences with using it, and let me know what happens. Like, I would love to hear any kind of stories, feedback, what you guys think, how it's worked for you, if it's helped you, if you guys need help with troubleshooting, like, okay, I'm trying this, I don't think I'm quite getting it, something's not clicking. That's a great time to get in the group, let us know what's up, or send me an email. I'll be glad to respond. A Facebook message, if you're shy, you don't want to mention it in the group, that's always an option. And I do check the Facebook messages, okay, so that it is me that sees it. My sister does have access, but she's like, nope, that's your world, that's your domain, I don't touch it. So I know sometimes people are worried about, like, oh, who's reading the message? Like, I thought I was talking to you. You are talking to me. The only time that she would, get involved is if, like, I have communicated with you and I need help with troubleshooting. So that's what we do. That's how we interact, right? So, like, we bounce stuff off of each other. Like, okay, this is what's going on. What's your intuitive hit, right? Because again, sometimes when we're too close to something, it's hard to get those hits, and always getting that other insight and bouncing it off. Like, I'm feeling this. What are you feeling? And she'll be like, oh yeah, totally feel that. But you know what? I just got to add this into. So that would be the only time, but she doesn't just check the messages, you guys. So she leaves that for me. So, all right, you guys, I have taken up enough of your time. I do hope that you enjoy this. It's helpful to you. Let me know. Okay, please. I really want to know that if this is helpful to you, and if you guys want to hear more, witch tips like this. We're going to try to get some more podcasts going, some more episodes. We are coming very close and fast up on October, which is, of course, our favorite time of the year. So maybe we'll try to do some spooky episodes, share some of our ghost stories with you and encounters, and how we dealt with them and what you guys can do if you guys experience things like that as well. So let me know what topics you guys want to hear about, what you want to know about, what your questions are. All right. Thank you so much. We love that you are joining us and listening to our podcast. If you love the podcast, please leave a positive review on whatever platform you're listening on. It really does help us, and it helps other people to find us. So if you could do that, we would really love and appreciate it. Also, we would love for you to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, subscribe on YouTube. All of that really helps us out a lot and keeps us going. So, and check out our shop, because we've got lots of cool stuff in the shop, right? And if you are doing spell work and ritual for protection, because you feel like it's something you need, use that Pentacle of Protection. Use it as a part of your spell work, right? Because it will, every time you recall it, it's going to reinforce that spell work that you did. Okay. And it works great and pairs great with, of course, our Clear and Protect spray, because that's, of course, all about protection. We also have the Clear and Protect candles. So you can get those and practice using that Pentacle of Protection while you burn that candle, right? And then you have it to go to every time you call it up. You're reinforcing your magic and your spell work, okay? We also turned the formula, the potion, so fun making the potions, you guys. And it was totally just intuitively gifted. I can't even say that it was intuitive, because it's really just a drop in from spirit on our Clear and Protect spray. And so it was so fun and magical making that potion. And we use the same potion for the Clear and Protect spray and the Clear and Protect candle. And now we have it available as a ritual oil. So you can use it in your own oil, your own rituals and your own spell work, which I absolutely love. Because, of course, I'm all about the do-it-yourself, because here we love to empower you, because you're the magic, and so we want you to be magically empowered. So it's all about you learning your energy, your intuition, your practice, your magic, your spell work, because that's where the juicy goodness is, right? All right, you guys, I promise I'm done now rambling. So much love and light to you all. Thank you so much for being here. Of course, you know I absolutely appreciate each and every single one of you. And I send you so much love, light, and magic, you guys. We'll see you next time.